Well, hello there, Evan Scoresby here, my friend, and I'm glad you're here with me again today with this new video. And I'm glad you're hearing the words of my voice because I'm actually decided to start a little, I guess, video series here on a book I'm reading. And I've actually read this book several times before, but I just restarted reading it and going through it and actually, really going to start becoming a practitioner of this book and actually fully applying the principles that are in it, because this book is a blueprint. Basically, it's a blueprint on the science of getting rich. Just like 1 plus 1 equals 2, you can follow an exact formula to get all the riches you ever dreamed of. And it's actually this book called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, right? So it's a really short book. It's an easy read. You could, probably read it all in one day if you really wanted to. But I'm just reading a chapter a day, and so I can fully digest it. And the first chapter is called "The Right to Be Rich." Now, this book was written back in 1910. So it's introducing a lot of new concepts and things that really weren't made available, previous to this. And it's actually the forerunner to a lot of the financial books and, personal development books that we see today. And it's very interesting because he brings up some concepts and things that sometimes may not sit well with a lot of people just because of how we've been raised or how we've been taught to believe about money and taught to believe about the rich, right? And so as you read this book, you might come across those passages where it might rub you a little wrong, right? But I look at those as learning experiences, and keep my mind open to the different possibilities and different ways of thinking about things, right? And so the whole idea, it's the science of getting rich or financial success through creative thought. So a lot of it is changing your thought processes or processes, I guess, and thinking a different way and looking at things in a certain way and doing them in a certain way and follow an exact pattern to get rich. So in this first chapter called "The Right to Be Rich," it poses, just that chapter alone could in and itself rub some people the wrong way. The right to be rich. Do you believe that you have a right to be rich? Some people, just even with the word rich, have like a negative connotation associated with that word. If that's you, that's something that you definitely need to work on. Rich not only means, money, monetary things, but it could be, rich in other areas of your life as well. But I wanted to read some passages from the book that I found interesting that kind of explain the right to be rich. Okay, the first is, I'm just going to start at the very beginning, and forgive me, I'm looking down at the book to read it. Unfortunately, I don't have it memorized. So it says, "Whatever may be said in praise of poverty, the fact remains that it is not possible to live a really complete or successful life unless one is rich. No man can rise to his greatest possible height in talent or soul development unless he has plenty of money. For to unfold the soul and to develop talent, he must have many things to use, and he cannot have these things unless he has money to buy them with." Makes sense, right? And he goes on to say, because of our society is organized in such a way, we in order to buy things and to become a possessor of things, to use them, we have to have money to do that. And he says the object of all life is development, and everything that lives has an inalienable right to all the development it is capable of attaining. Man's right to life means his right to have the free and unrestricted use of all things which may be necessary to his fullest mental, spiritual, and physical unfoldment, or, in other words, his right to be rich. And so, it's a lot more, that's just the first opening paragraphs of the chapter. And he goes on to explain how each of the area, in order to have to live a more full life in body, mind, and spirit, you have to be able to do certain things to enrich that part of your life. And to do those things, you have to have money in order to make it happen. And so, your study should be, the science of getting rich and doing all that you can, to get rich, not only for the benefit of yourself, but for the benefit of all those around you. And he also mentions God in here, the benefit for God. Because he says, one of the things that he talks about, a man's highest happiness is found in the bestowal of benefits of those he loves. Love finds its most natural and spontaneous expression in giving. So some of our greatest happinesses can become from giving and giving to others. We can't fully give, unless we have money to do that. That will help do them. Yeah, you can give in your time and service and things like that, but for true happiness, for me personally, I'd love to, walking down the street, see somebody in need, be able to, whip out $1,000 and say, here, here's a hand up, right? Go take care of yourself, or whatever it is. But the closing paragraph, it says, if you're having a little hard time grasping this and having that little negative connotation about the right to be rich, hopefully this will kind of ease your mind a little bit. The last paragraph in this chapter, it says, it is perfectly right that you should desire to be rich. If you are a normal man or woman, you cannot help but doing so. It is perfectly right that you should give your best attention to the science of getting rich, for it is the noblest and most necessary of all studies. If you neglect this study, you are derelict in your duty to yourself, to God and humanity, for you can render to God and humanity no greater service than to make the most of yourself. And to make the most of yourself is the study of the science of getting rich, and to have all the things to make that happen. So interesting book. I encourage you, to pick up a copy for yourself. I actually have a downloadable copy right here on my website where you can download a PDF for free and be able to read it right now if you want to. There is a link right below this video, though, if you like to get the actual physical book like I do. You can buy it off Amazon. It's just a couple bucks. Feel free to do that. And leave your comments below. I'd love to have a discussion with you and talk about this idea of the right to be rich. Okay? And tomorrow I'm going to be talking about the second chapter, which is titled The Science of Getting Rich, and go a little bit more into detail about that. So with that being said, hope you enjoyed this video. Leave your comments below, and remember, only you have the choice to make it a great day. We'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.